Officer didn't give a warning, so I told his kid he couldn't ride, by user big_comparison 2849. For the last few years, I've worked pre-season at an amusement park. I have the final call as a supervisor, since I've got 6-year seniority, even though I only work 8 days a year. 5 years ago a police officer gave me a citation for driving 5 miles per hour over the limit, even though I hadn't received a citation since 2001. 2 days ago, a ride operator called me because someone was upset that his child wasn't tall enough to ride. Although I could have allowed his child to ride, with adult supervision, I recognized the officer and denied his request. Yep, 5 millimeters under, officer. I'm sure he understood after that as his child bawled. Ida? Yes, why yes I am. Sorry I'm fat, by user Nabru Sunshine. Have 2 stories today that have me feeling low yet victorious. I have birthed 2 large babies, my first in 2018, almost 8 pounds, and my second in 2020, almost 9 pounds. Add in COVID, my oldest, who was adopted, and a foster kiddo for a while. Needless to say I've had trouble losing weight and reducing my mom pooch. But I've been working on it pretty hard the past few months and I'm now noticing that a lot of my clothes are getting looser. I decided to reward myself by getting some new clothes that fit better. At one store, I was simply looking at some clothes when I overheard a guy say, "Man, why do people look at skimpy clothes when they clearly don't have the body for it?" I subtly sneak a peek and I see him giving angry looks at me. I'm the only other person in this section other than I'm assuming his wife. Now, not trying to body shame, but this guy had no room to be talking. He was over here looking like Winnie the Pooh with several inches of his massive stomach on display. I sweetly turned to him and said, "I popped out 2 big babies, what's your stomach's excuse?" His wife just about died laughing as this guy turned purple. Later at another store trying on some dresses. It's one of those stores where they have a mirror in the dressing room, but have the better multi-sided mirror and better light outside of the dressing room. I popped out to check myself in the better mirror when a woman came over excitedly and said, "Ooh, congrats on the baby." I was obviously not thrilled because it is a bit of a sore spot with me that I do still look pregnant after all this time. But instead I just said thanks. She was born in 2020. The woman's face fell and she scampered off. Moral of the stories, keep your mouth shut about other people's bodies. I got the kid permanently, you go the car. Temporarily, by user thepatrony36. I'll make it short. GF gets pregnant. Do the right thing and stick by her. We have the kid. She starts going out all the time and we'd occasionally get calls at the house by guys looking for her. I knew she was cheating but didn't really care. I was just there to make sure the kid was well taken care of. Get a new job out of state and hoping that being there away from her bar friends will make us closer. Nope. She finds a new boyfriend quick. Tries to hide it but she sucks at lying and hiding things. Again. No care from me. By now my kid and I are very bonded and even at 18 months it's obvious he doesn't much care for her either. Came home from a trip. Can't find my kid. Walk into my bedroom and there she and her boyfriend are having a nice little romp. Now this was in the days before cell phones and we lived on the 3rd floor so there was no escaping the bedroom without coming through the living room, so I just said, "When you two are done I'll be in the living room," and walked out. 3 hours and a lot of whispering later they emerge. Walk the guy to the parking lot and explain to him I'm not mad at him but be decent and don't fuck in my house anymore and stay out of my beer. Go back upstairs, tell her to go get my son. Next day I get a new apartment and move out in 3 hours while she was at boyfriend's house and took the kid. Day after I filed for divorce and got full custody, which I won full after 2 years of legal wrangling. Granted, child support was jack shit but it paid for beer for the next 18 years. I supported my kid. I never raised it on her because I'm a decent guy, but it was fun rubbing it in her face when she got out of line that I spent it on frivolous stuff for myself and bought him all of his clothes, toys, food, etc., out of my own pocket. It always made her fume for a few days. In hindsight I should have put it into a savings account for him, but we all make mistakes in life. Now I had purchased her a Toyota Accord before we moved that we shared, but in the divorce she wanted the car, which I gladly gave her. Then I moved back to my state, in with my parents, and started life over. A few months go by and I start getting calls at work from the credit company demanding payment that was overdue. I explained numerous times that the vehicle was legally hers now and I would not be paying. Most of these guys were a-holes, but one day a very low-key guy called and said, "Look, we're just trying to work something out because we can't locate her." "Oh well, why didn't you say so? Here's where she's living." The plate number is XXXX and I have it on good authority she is home right now, she didn't have a job. About 3 hours later my phone rings and it's her and she is pissed asking me if I told them where the car was because they just repoed and towed it. Yep, I say with a smug grin, something you need to learn is if you don't pay your bills you don't get to keep your stuff. By the way, my lawyer is paid off. How is yours doing? That was a great day. Thanks for all the positive responses. I'm no hero or great dad. Just a dude that did what it took to take care of his kid through life and do what it took to give him a good one. Parents that say they sacrifice for their kids disgust me. Sure, there was a lot of shit I could have bought, done, gone to, etc. if I wasn't supporting him, but taking care of him was a lot more rewarding and fun. The only bad time we had was when I tried to coach him in t-ball. He's always been the laid-back type and I'm way too competitive. He didn't like baseball and after that season we agreed that I needed to stay away from practices etc. if he got involved in something of interest. Yes, it was a Honda Accord. Come on people, that was 30 years ago. For you doubters, this story is 100% true. I still have the paperwork and documentation including the deposition transcript. For you hateful people that just want to be a Reddit dick? It must be sad to be such a pathetic person. You have my pity. Charge me to close out the account, by user XboxGamer2122. I had an investment account at my bank that I set up in order to save for my kids' college, and used it to pay tuition. About 2 years after the last one graduated, I realized that I'd been getting a monthly statement for the account, even though it only had $280 in it, so I went to the bank to close it out and have the $280 transferred to my checking account. They sent me to an investment specialist in a small office off to the side, since customer service people can't do anything with investment accounts. I want to state that the person I sat down with was doing his job, and he had rules and procedures to follow. He started out nice and friendly. When he asked why I wanted to close the account, I explained to him that I was getting monthly statements, it was costing the bank money, etc. However, he told me there would be a $135 fee to close out the account. I asked if it could be waived since it was half the value of the account, it was costing the bank to send the statements, and he got irritated with me for even suggesting such a thing. Then he spent the next 15 minutes trying to sell me life insurance, asking how much I had in my other accounts, and that he could probably do better performance-wise if I transferred it all to his investment branch. Cue petty revenge. I decided not to close out the account, but to take out $279 instead, leaving a buck in it. In a now condescending tone he lectured me that it wouldn't stop the monthly statements, the reason I wanted to close the account. I explained to him that it wasn't worth $135 to me to stop the mail. 2 years later I'm still getting monthly statements for the account that now has $1.03 in it. Cheat on me? Good luck using your account, by user list he first. Here's some background, I was with my ex for almost 4 years. He was a good guy up until a year before we broke up, when he started cheating on me. When we finally broke up, I was able to get some revenge. 1 year for Christmas I got him a used PS4. We set up our accounts in such a way that mine was the parent account and his was the child so he could play my games. Another feature of this setup was that the parent account can lock the child account out of playing. He knew this when we set it up and said it didn't bother him. When we broke up, he refused to stop playing the games I bought for me on my account, claiming he couldn't stop. Soon after that, I locked everything on his account. His account will automatically log out if he tries and he can't do anything to stop it. Before anyone says anything, I paid for everything when it came to that console. All of his games, his membership, everything. He was unemployed for most of our relationship and never paid for his own things. NJ, if you ever read this, F you.